Hi, this is James for Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to learn how to play Fisheries of Gloucester. It's published by Dr. Finn Games, and it's a two-player head-to-head game where you're going to be playing as fishermen with a fleet of boats where you're going to try to capture as many fish as you can, preserve them, and try to make it out to these islands by the end of the game. So let's go ahead down to the table here, and I'm going to show you how to play. All right, so this is the Fisheries of Gloucester. In the Fisheries of Gloucester, you're going to lay at the heart of the 19th century New England fishing industry. The city's ports are teeming with rugged individuals ready to take on difficult tasks ahead, gather the crew, board the schooners, cast your nets, and catch loads of fish as you sail towards victory. Now this is a two-player game, and in the game you're going to be trying to sail and get these fish, preserve the fish, and try to get to these islands for extra points at the end of the game. So let's get into setup. Setup for the game is pretty simple. You're going to give each player a player board here. You're going to place out this player board here. Now there's a side A and a side B. On the side B you get to make up the ocean. There's going to be rough waters and islands and stuff you can place out, and you guys can agree on how you want to place out the map. You can use side B. I'm going to show side A, and on side A you're going to place your little schooners out here alternating. So if you want yellow to be on 2, yellow will be on 2 on each of the places, and then green will be on 1 on each of the places. In addition, you're going to randomly place out the fish, and there's going to be these little fish icons on the board to show you where you put them. You put all the fish out randomly, and then you're going to put out this little progress board here, and this progress board shows you how far your ships are allowed to sail out, and there's going to be one for yellow and one for green. You'll shuffle up all the day tiles here. These are going to be what we're going to flip over to show you what additional tiles you'll get in the game. In each round, this also serves as the round timer. The game's going to go for 6 rounds. You will also place out 6 piles of bonus cards. Now all but one pile is going to have 2 cards in it. And you're going to look at this top part to determine which pile they go into. So this one's going to be 2 equals. So there's 2 equals. You're going to shuffle them up and put them out. You have 3 not equal, 3 equal, 2 not equal, 4 not equal, and then these cards. And these cards are the only pile that you're going to have more than 2, and there's going to be 4 in this pile. So shuffle up, place them up there. So you have 6 piles of gold cards. These are preservation cards, actually, in the game that you can go for. In addition to that, each player is going to gain one of these lobsters, which will give you a bonus turn when you spend them. And you're going to get one of these time counters. Each player will also get a small square ocean tile and a large rectangle ocean tile. So each player will get one of those. You're going to pick whoever goes first. And so whoever goes first is going to get 6 time, and whoever goes second is going to get 7 time. So you put the marker on 6 time for the first player and 7 time for the second player. And that's all there is to setup. Now, on each of these 6 days, which is going to be each of your rounds, you're going to flip over one of these cards. Players are going to take turns taking actions, charting courses, sailing, fishing, preserving fish. By preserving fish and docking ships on islands on this side right here, players earn points. At the end of the game, the player with the most points will win. So there's going to be several phases to each day. There's going to be 4 phases to each day. First is going to be take ocean tiles, then it's going to be add time, then it's going to be perform actions, and then it's going to be ending the day. So the first one's going to be take ocean tiles. So at the beginning of the day, you're going to flip one of these over. So in this case, everyone's going to get 2 of these small squares. And we're going to do this for each day. All right, so in the second phase, players are going to get time. Now, if you're the first player, now this can change throughout the game, but if you're the first player, you'll get 6 hours. Since it's our first game, you're going to start at 6 hours, and the second player will get 7 hours. You can save time or hours per round, so I'm going to show you that in a little bit, but you can only ever have a maximum of 12 hours. Now the bulk of the game is going to be in the taking turns phase, which is going to be phase 3 of the game. All right, now we're going to start the third phase. In the third phase, you're going to take the first player, so whoever's the first player, they're going to start the round, but they're going to start by placing this back in the pool so someone can grab that card, first player card, in future rounds. Now, you're going to on your turn, perform one of 4 different actions that you can do. You can chart a course, sail, you can fish, and you can preserve fish. And you can only preserve fish once a day. Once you preserve fish, you can't preserve anymore. So that means that if we go over 6 rounds, the maximum you could potentially ever preserve is going to be 6 fish. All right, so let's go over the first action you can do. Now you have 4 different ones. You can only pick one on your turn, but you're going to alternate and you come back and to pick a different one on your different turn. So the first action you could possibly do is going to be chart a course. This doesn't cost any hours. A lot of actions do cost hours, and you have to move down your hour token. And once you get to 0, you're going to have to end the day, whether you want to or not. You're going to place down 1 ocean tile from your personal supply onto the board following these rules. So if I want to place this one down here, I can place it here. Place it on a space orthogonally adjacent to a space with a ship. So whether it's yours or your opponent's doesn't really matter. And it is worth mentioning that when you're charting these and you can move along these, your opponent can do the same thing. There's nothing stopping your opponent from using the courses you charted. So keep that in mind when you're trying to get out and to get to these fish. Your opponent can take advantage of your tiles that you place. So the tile must fit inside the board, and it can't go outside the board. No part of the tile may cover any fish tokens. You can't cover a fish token. You can't cover rough waters, and you can't cover an island in here. You can orient the token any way you want as long as you follow those rules, and you can only play 1 tile per turn, but on future turns you could play another one. So if I want to place this one down here, I'm the green player, I could place that like so. All right, so the second phase is going to be the sail phase, and there's a couple things with this sail phase. In this sail phase here, you generally move along your charted paths here, or your opponent's charted path. That's fine too. You can also move on rough water or on an island, but you can't move on to a location with a fish or uncharted spaces. Now, when you move, you can only move horizontally or vertically, and you can only move with 1 ship that you picked. And every movement that you do is going to cost 1 hour. So you'll be moving this down for every movement that you do. And you could do multiple on a turn, doesn't really matter. You can spend whatever number of hours you want to do that. Now, a couple additional things. So let's say this player placed this charted tile right here. Now, it would be 1, 2, and then if you want to move on rough waters, you can do that because it'll get you near the fish and you don't have to chart the spot. That's nice, but it's going to cost you. If you move on rough waters there, that's going to cost you 2 movements. So far, if the yellow player wanted to do this, they're going to spend 1, 2, 3, 4 movement to do that of their 7 movement that they have available. So that's pretty expensive. The other thing that can happen is if a player's boat's here, you can go past it. So this will be 1 movement. It costs 2 movement to move onto a space with another boat, and you can't stay there. You have to end your turn off of a boat. So you would take another movement there. So this would have been 1, 2, 3, 4 movement, or 4 time to be able to do that movement. And that's how movement works. The other thing, well, one thing I want to mention too is if you make it all the way to an island, you can't make it past where this line arrow is for your color. That's the maximum you can go. This is going to move forward based on your ship that's farthest back. So wherever your farthest ship back is where this is going to be. So later on, if I'm here and I have this tile here and I have one way up here, this is going to move forward to be at the farthest ship back, and that means the farthest I can go forward is here. So you can't just sprint your ship forward. You have to pay attention to all of your ships to be able to take advantage of getting to these islands. So you have to keep moving those forward to be able to do it. All right, so you can do a third action. So I'm going to put another tile out here, and we're going to pretend that the ship is here. Okay, so once you're there, on a future turn, you can do action 3, which is going to be fish. And when you fish, you can take as many fish that are orthogonically adjacent to the ship. However, each fish you take is going to cost you an hour. So in this case, it would cost me 3 hours to catch that many fish. And I would place them on my player board. No matter how many fish you catch, this is an action. So you can catch 1 fish, or you can catch 4 fish is maybe the maximum that you could do in that. The final action you can do on your turn is you're going to preserve fish. So if you preserve fish here, you have to meet the criteria. So I have 2 fish that equal, so technically I can do this one right here. Now, what that means is I'll have to spend 2 fish to be able to get this preservation tile, so I'll remove those from the game. I will place my preservation card to the left of my board so everyone can see it. And I will immediately perform the preservation card action if you can and wish to. So it's not mandatory. All right, so there's 3 different main awards that you can get for this. Well, the big one is you're going to get these endgame scoring, which is on the bottom here. So whenever you see this steering wheel and points, those are points at the game. So when you see like 3 steering wheels when you land on an island, that's going to be 3 points. So, and this one's going to give you 2 points. This one here is going to let you move any one of your ship 1 forward, or whatever number it says here, and you can place out the tile that's shown. In this case, it's a rectangular tile. Also, when you take one of these, you make the next one available. This one here shows the other action that you can get on here, so you can move one of your ships 2 forward, and this one here, this one will give you 2 extra times, so you can move your time marker forward twice, so you can have more time during your day. Those are the 3 different type of rewards that you can get on these cards. Now, a couple other notes before we go to ending your day. But this little lobster token, if you ever spend this lobster token on your turn, you get another turn. So if you really want, and this will be once per game, you can get 2 turns in a row, which is pretty cool. All right, so we're going to go into what the final thing you can do on your turn is, and that's going to be ending the day. So if you end the day and you're the first one to do it, you get to take this initiative card and you get to pick who goes first and who goes second. You'll do this by showing which side you want to be. So if I want to be the second player, I'll show this side. If I want to be the first player, I'll show this. Once the other player has ended their turn, a couple things are going to happen. You are going to, if it's not the 6th day, so it's not the 6th day, if it's the end of the 6th day, you're going to go into scoring. But if it's not the 6th day, you're going to move the preservation cards earned for the day to the right side of your board. So those are showed as earned and keeping them. And you may keep up to 1 ocean tile to use during the following day. All the rest get returned to the supply. So I can only have 1 ocean tile left. So if I didn't spend all these, which would be ridiculous, these would go back. And again, you don't have to spend time to play chart ocean tile, so you're going to want to probably do that as much as possible. All right, so now let me go over, before we go over into end game, what happens on the next round. So on the next round, this wouldn't be flipped over yet, but we flip this over, and this would show the new tiles that you get for the turn. So this player would get this turn, the rectangle and the small. This player would get the rectangle and the small. In addition, whatever you picked here, you would gain. So if this player here picked to be first, they would gain 6 hours. So let's say they're all the way down at 2, they would go up to 8. And let's say this guy's at 4. If they added 7, they would go up to 11. And then they'd be able to start the day. And you're going to continue on doing this until you finish 6 rounds. All right, so scoring is really simple in the game. You might have, now you have charted courses, and you'll go through here, and some of your ships may end up on here. Important thing to note is once your ship ends on an island, it's done. It can't do anything else. Basically, once you hit the island, you're saying you're done with that ship. And all the islands have different, well, they have different points on some of these different islands. Like the farthest ones out have 3. This has 2, 1, 2, 1. And when you end on that, that's how many points you'll get at the end of the game. So when you're scoring, you'll score up these points for whatever ships that you have on it. You'll score points for whatever preservation cards that you have. And the player with the most points will win. Now, in case of a tie, the player with the most fish on their board wins. If still tied, the player who took the initiative card on the final day will win. And that is going to be how you play the Fisheries of Gloucester. Thank you for watching.